Welcome to Malice and Mystery, where shadows whisper and the unknown beckons. Enter a realm of spine-tingling horror, eerie mysteries, and chilling tales. From real-life paranormal encounters to unsolved enigmas and bone-chilling urban legends, we bring you the darkest stories from the depths of the unknown. Subscribe if you dare, and remember, some mysteries are best left unsolved. Disappearance at the Devil's Bridge, unraveling the mysterious dark tale that will haunt you. The enigma of Devil's Bridge. Nestled deep within the mist-shrouded mountains, Devil's Bridge stands as a silent sentinel over the small town of Black Hollow. This ancient stone structure, shrouded in local legend and eerie tales, spans the roaring Black River, its dark waters swirling with secrets untold. The bridge itself is an architectural marvel from another era, with intricate carvings that tell stories of old. Each groove and curve whispering tales of times long past. Yet, it is not just its age or craftsmanship that captures the imagination. It is the air of mystery that envelops it, thick with whispers of supernatural occurrences and unexplained phenomena. Black Hollow, a quaint yet shadowy town, clings to the edges of modernity, while being steeped in folklore. Its cobblestone streets and timber-framed houses seem frozen in time, each corner holding a story waiting to be uncovered. The townsfolk speak in hushed tones about the bridge, their eyes darting nervously towards its looming silhouette against the skyline. It is said that on moonless nights, ghostly figures can be seen traversing its length, their forms flickering like candle flames caught in a draft. Others claim to hear distant laughter echoing from beneath its arches, a sound both chilling and inviting. The disappearance at Devil's Bridge has cast a pall over Black Hollow, a mystery that has baffled both locals and authorities alike. A young woman, last seen standing by the edge of the bridge late one evening, vanished without a trace, leaving behind only her scarf fluttering in the wind. The event has stirred the pot of fear and superstition, drawing curious visitors and amateur sleuths to the town, all eager to unravel the truth. As the days pass, the atmosphere grows heavier, charged with anticipation and dread, setting the stage for a tale where reality and myth blur into a haunting dance of shadows and whispers. Shadows of the past, the history of Devil's Bridge. Devil's Bridge, beyond its eerie allure, harbors a history steeped in darkness and despair. Local legends whisper of a pact made centuries ago between a desperate soul and the devil himself. According to these tales, a poor farmer, driven to desperation by famine and poverty, struck a deal with the devil to save his family. In exchange for wealth and prosperity, he promised his soul, which was to be claimed on the bridge exactly 7 years later. True to the legend, on the fateful night, the farmer was never seen again, and the bridge became known as Devil's Bridge. Over the decades, numerous disappearances have been attributed to this cursed landmark. Historical records from the 1800s recount several incidents where travelers vanished near the bridge under mysterious circumstances. Each disappearance was marked by peculiar weather, anomalous sudden fog banks or violent storms that seemed to swallow the victims whole. The most infamous case involved a group of 5 teenagers who ventured onto the bridge during a school trip. Only their belongings were found scattered along the riverbank, with no sign of the youths themselves. These stories are not merely folklore. They are embedded in the very fabric of Black Hollow. Every resident has heard tales passed down through generations, each adding layers of dread to the bridge's already sinister reputation. The elderly often recall how their grandparents would warn them to stay away from the bridge after dusk, lest they tempt fate. Even today, parents instill a sense of caution in their children, using the bridge as a cautionary tale to ensure obedience and respect for local traditions. The impact of these historical events on the community is profound. The bridge serves as a constant reminder of the thin veil between the living and the unknown. It fuels a collective anxiety among the townsfolk, manifesting in rituals and customs designed to appease unseen forces. Annual ceremonies are held at the bridge, involving offerings and prayers, hoping to prevent further tragedies. These practices, while steeped in superstition, reflect a deep-seated need to confront and control the fears that Devil's Bridge represents. As the sun sets and shadows lengthen, the bridge becomes a focal point of whispered conversations and nervous glances. It is a place where history and horror intertwine, casting long dark shadows over the hearts of those who dare to dwell too closely on its mysteries. The legacy of Devil's Bridge continues to shape the identity of Black Hollow, binding its residents in a shared experience of awe and apprehension, making every step towards the bridge a journey into the depths of their communal psyche. The protagonist's arrival, a quest for truth, amidst the pervasive gloom that draped Black Hollow. Eleanor Hart arrived, her presence as sharp and determined as the cold winds that swept through the valley. A seasoned journalist known for her relentless pursuit of the truth, Eleanor had built a career exposing the hidden facets of society's darkest corners. Her arrival was met with a mix of curiosity and unease. The townsfolk, accustomed to outsiders drawn by morbid fascination, eyed her with wary suspicion. Yet Eleanor's purpose was singular and clear: to uncover the truth behind the recent disappearance at Devil's Bridge. Eleanor's initial impressions of Black Hollow were tinged with a foreboding she couldn't quite shake. The town seemed to breathe with a life of its own, its narrow streets and shadowy alleys whispering secrets to those willing to listen. She felt the weight of countless eyes following her movements, each glance heavy with unspoken warnings and ancient fears. Despite the palpable tension, Eleanor's resolve only hardened. Her instincts, honed by years of navigating dangerous truths, told her there was more to the story than the supernatural lore that clouded the town's judgment. Determined to peel back the layers of mystery, Eleanor began her investigation with methodical precision. Her first steps led her to the local library, a quaint building that seemed almost out of place amidst the town's Gothic architecture. There, she pored over yellowed newspapers and brittle manuscripts, piecing together a timeline of events surrounding the disappearances at Devil's Bridge. Each document added a fragment to the puzzle, painting a picture of a town haunted not just by ghosts, but by its own unresolved grief and guilt. As days turned into weeks, Eleanor's inquiries took her deeper into the heart of Black Hollow. She interviewed the families of the missing, their voices trembling with a mixture of hope and despair. She walked the same paths as those who had vanished, feeling the chill of the river's breath and hearing the echo of footsteps that belonged to no one. Each encounter, each discovery, wove a tighter net around the enigma of Devil's Bridge, pulling Eleanor inexorably closer to the core of the mystery. Yet, with every answer she uncovered, new questions arose, twisting and turning like the river beneath the bridge. The more she learned, the more Eleanor realized that the truth was not a simple narrative of human error or natural disaster. It was something far more complex, intertwined with the very essence of the town and its people. And as she stood on the precipice of revelation, Eleanor knew that the answers she sought might challenge everything she believed about reality and the shadows that lurk just beyond the edge of understanding, unraveling the threads, clues, and revelations. As Eleanor delved deeper into the labyrinth of Devil's Bridge's mysteries, a pattern began to emerge from the chaos of disjointed facts and eerie coincidences. Her meticulous notes, spread across the worn wooden table of her rented room, revealed connections that even the most skeptical mind could not dismiss. One pivotal clue came from an old diary she discovered tucked away in the attic of a decrepit house once owned by a victim's relative. The diary spoke of recurring dreams, a vivid sequence where the dreamer always stood on the bridge, surrounded by a chorus of whispers urging them to step forward into the abyss. This revelation aligned eerily with testimonies from other townsfolk who had experienced similar nocturnal visitations. Eleanor cross-referenced these accounts with historical data and found that such dreams spiked dramatically before each recorded disappearance. The consistency was unsettling, suggesting a psychic phenomenon tied directly to the bridge itself. Further investigation led Eleanor to consult with a local historian, Mr. Grayson, whose knowledge of Black Hollow was encyclopedic. he introduced her to the concept of ley lines, engiant alignments of landforms, thought to channel mystical energies, and pointed out that Devil-less Bridge was situated at a nexus of such lines. Armed with this new perspective, Eleanor revisited the site of the bridge at various times, documenting subtle changes in atmospheric conditions and electromagnetic readings. She noticed that on certain nights, particularly those devoid of moonlight, the air around the bridge seemed charged, almost alive, with an energy that prickled the skin and raised the hairs on the back of her neck. Instruments confirmed unusual spikes in electromagnetic activity, lending credence to the theory that the bridge might indeed serve as a conduit for forces beyond human comprehension. Eleanor's findings began to paint a disturbing picture. It appeared that Devil-less Bridge was not merely a passive backdrop to tragedy, but an active participant, perhaps even a catalyst. The convergence of ley lines, coupled with the psychological impact of the bridge's grim history, suggested a synergy of natural and supernatural elements conspiring to lure individuals into its grasp. This hypothesis was further supported by interviews with psychologists who specialized in trauma and paranormal phenomena, who noted a pattern of cognitive dissonance in survivors of near disappearances, as if their minds had been temporarily hijacked. Each piece of evidence, each expert opinion, brought Eleanor closer to a conclusion that defied conventional logic. The bridge was a threshold, a liminal space where the boundaries between worlds blurred, and where the human psyche could be manipulated by forces both internal and external. As she pieced together these revelations, Eleanor felt the weight of her discoveries pressing down on her. The truth was not just a matter of solving a mystery. It was a confrontation with the unknown, a dance with shadows that had long eluded capture. With every step forward, the path grew darker, more treacherous. Yet Eleanor's determination only burned brighter, fueled by a relentless drive to expose the truth, no matter how unsettling. The bridge loomed ahead, its dark silhouette against the starless sky, a constant reminder of the task that lay before her. As she prepared to face whatever secrets it guarded, Eleanor knew that the answers she sought might forever alter her understanding of reality and the fragile line between the seen and the unseen. Confrontation at the abyss. The final revelation. The culmination of Eleanor's investigation unfolded on a night cloaked in an impenetrable darkness, where the stars above Devil's Bridge seemed to have been extinguished by an unseen hand. The air was thick with an electric charge, and the whispers Eleanor had heard only in the confines of her dreams now echoed audibly around her, urging her toward the bridge. Her heart pounded with a mixture of terror and exhilaration as she approached the ancient structure, each step resonating with the weight of the truths she was about to uncover. Upon reaching the center of the bridge, Eleanor paused, her senses heightened by the palpable energy that seemed to emanate from the very stones beneath her feet. Suddenly, the whispers coalesced into a coherent voice, deep and resonant, speaking directly to her. "You seek the truth, Eleanor Hart," it intoned, sending shivers down her spine. "But are you prepared to face what lies beyond the veil?" Summoning her courage, Eleanor demanded answers, her voice steady despite the turmoil within. "Show yourself," she commanded, her words slicing through the spectral murmurs. In response, the figure of a man materialized before her, translucent and shimmering like a mirage. He introduced himself as Thomas Weaver, a name Eleanor recognized from the old diaries, once a respected member of Black Hollow, now seemingly trapped between worlds. Thomas revealed the horrifying truth. The disappearances were not random acts of malevolence, but sacrifices, demanded by an ancient entity bound to the ley lines intersecting at Devil-less Bridge. This entity, a guardian of sorts, required periodic tributes to maintain the balance between the realms. Those who disappeared had unwittingly become part of this macabre bargain, their essences absorbed to sustain the barrier between the mortal world and the abyss beyond. As Thomas recounted the grim details, Eleanor felt a profound shift in her perception. The bridge was not merely a physical structure, but a portal. a gateway that blurred the lines between reality and the supernatural. Her confrontation with Thomas and indirectly with the entity was a battle not just of wills, but of beliefs. Could she accept the existence of forces beyond human understanding? Forces that defied the logical frameworks she had built her life upon. In a moment of clarity, Eleanor realized that exposing the truth might not lead to salvation, but to further chaos. The knowledge she sought could unravel the delicate fabric of Black Hollow, plunging it into a crisis of faith and fear. With this realization, she faced a moral quandary: to reveal everything and risk mass hysteria, or to guard the secret, protecting the town from truths it might not survive. Her decision crystallized as she looked into Thomas's sorrowful eyes. "I understand now," she whispered, her voice laden with the weight of her choice. "Some truths are too dangerous to be free." With that, she stepped back from the edge, leaving the bridge and its haunting secrets behind, carrying with her the burden of knowledge and the resolve to protect those who remained oblivious to the shadows lurking just beyond their reality. Echoes of the unseen, reflections and resolutions. As dawn broke over Black Hollow, casting long shadows that danced eerily across the cobblestone streets, Eleanor Hart found herself seated in the dim light of her rented room, the remnants of her investigation scattered around her. The confrontation at Devil's Bridge had left an indelible mark on her psyche. A tapestry woven with threads of fear, revelation, and an unsettling acceptance of the unknown. Her decision to withhold the full truth from the townsfolk was not born out of malice, but from a profound understanding of the delicate balance between knowledge and chaos. Eleanor reflected on the transformation she had undergone since her arrival in Black Hollow. Initially driven by a journalistic fervor to expose hidden truths, she had instead been ensnared in a web of supernatural intrigue that challenged her very perception of reality. The bridge, with its sinister aura and cryptic whispers, had unveiled a world where the boundaries between the tangible and the ethereal blurred into obscurity. This revelation forced her to confront her deepest fears and question the limits of human understanding. The implications of her findings weighed heavily on her conscience. By choosing silence, Eleanor had assumed a mantle of responsibility, becoming a guardian of secrets that could either protect or destroy the town she had come to understand so intimately. Her actions, or lack thereof, would ripple through the lives of Black Hollow's residents, influencing their perceptions and interactions with the bridge and its legends. The potential consequences were vast and varied, ranging from maintaining the status quo to inadvertently fostering a culture of fear and superstition. Despite the gravity of her decision, Eleanor felt a strange sense of peace. The bridge, once a symbol of dread and mystery, now represented a threshold she had crossed, not just physically, but metaphorically. It marked a transition from skepticism to a reluctant acknowledgement of forces beyond her control. This journey had reshaped her identity, molding her from a seeker of truth into a keeper of shadows. As she packed her belongings, preparing to leave Black Hollow and its haunting mysteries behind, Eleanor paused by the window, gazing out at the silhouette of Devil's Bridge against the pale morning sky. The structure stood as a silent testament to the power of the unseen, a monument to the stories untold and the truths unspoken. In that moment, she realized that some bridges are meant to remain uncrossed, their secrets safeguarded by those brave enough to bear the burden of silence. With a final glance, Eleanor turned away, stepping out into the light, her spirit forever altered by the echoes of the abyss. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this video intriguing. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell to stay updated with more mysterious tales. Until next time, keep your curiosity alive and stay cautious.